I've come to Aberdeen to visit a local children's charity called Charlie House. I'm about to meet Lee. She works with families where a child has a life-limiting condition and spends time with their siblings. And we're about to head out to Old Meldrum. So Lee, we're on the way to meet our family. Tell me a bit about what your job involves.
So I work with any baby, child or young person with complex and life-limiting conditions. So that is throughout the North East. So Aberdeen, Aberdeenshire, Moray, Orkney and Shetland. So the ones I meet at school, we get to know each other and then I can find out all about the sibling. Sometimes they find that hard because sometimes the focus isn't on them as much.
I love Pudsey Bear. He was speaking in it.
I couldn't hear Pudsey. What was he saying?
He was saying, I like the look of Freddie as well. Hello. Hello.
Do you love having a little brother?
Yeah.
That's 6-year-old Freddie and his sister Elisa, who's 9. We arrived at tea time, and like many homes with young children, it was noisy and just full of fun. Mum Linda Jo told me how play was with this lively pair.
Chaotic. Sometimes it goes really, really well and they'll play really beautifully together. If he's not making her vision happen, which we don't necessarily know what it just is explosive and she's quite violent with him and stuff.
It's really important to go whatever works best for the family, whether it's home, school, nursery, whatever works best, because you want to make life as easy as possible because things are hard enough as it is.
Oh, it's exhausting. I'm completely drained mentally and physically and sometimes I'm in a better place to deal with it than others.
And how does Charlie House help?
It's so much more bearable with Charlie House, and especially Lee. She's someone that is always there to listen and understand and support. I can say things to Lee that I probably couldn't say to other people. Alyssa is wonderful. She is amazing. Yeah, as much as I adore her, my goodness, it's really hard. And I don't have to explain to Lee how I'm feeling and kind of make sure she knows, oh, but I do love her, I do love her. Like, of course, she knows how I feel about her. She's seen our bond and everything I do to make sure that she feels safe and secure. And so when I'm like, oh, I just have to have a moan about how awful she's being, it's okay, because Lee understands that. She's got cerebral palsy, and the reason she's so challenging is because the part where her damage is the part that controls impulse. So she's never going to be able to kind of think something through and think, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. If she wants to do it, she's going to do it.
And what effect does that have on her brother?
It's really, really hard. And that's in turn really hard for me to see. She hurts him. She hurts his feelings as well. She's quite mean and wicked. And I know this happens with all siblings, but it's compounded for Freddie. His older sister, that's your role model. So he often, when he's struggling with something, he'll really drastically overreact. And we'll kind of not come down on him, but we try and say, no, calm down, why are you being... But then the only thing he sees is a massive reaction gets what you want, because that's what we have to do with Alyssa. And also he picks up on all the anxiety and he gets that because we have a higher expectation of him because he's not disabled. And that's not fair because he's a baby. He should be the one playing up. Freddie, what else do you do? You tell me something really nice that you do with Lee. What about the body plug?
It's like a piece of wood. You put your hand on it if you have a worry. And it takes it away from your brain and into the plaque. I always have a worry when I see you.
Do you have a worry after we've spoken about it though?
The worry goes away.
1, 2, 3.
Being here amongst this fantastic family makes you really appreciate what Charlie House does and see up close the impact it's had on all of their lives.
I feel hugely privileged to be able to walk alongside the families on their journey from life, from death and beyond. And I can't thank Children in Need enough for that, so thank you.
You kind of go through phases of coping, surviving, learning. And I was in survival mode for so long. And part of what has dragged me up into kind of thriving mode, part of what makes life feel more like living instead of just surviving, is definitely Charlie House. I'm sure I would still be coping, but I wouldn't be thriving, I would be surviving.